All right. Welcome in to a Dash of DFS episode number 16. This is a Toilets to Titles production. With me this week, always my co-pilot, my main man, Dirty Jobs himself, Mike D. What's happening, Mike?
What's happening, Captain? How we doing this evening? Glad to have you back. But it's like you took out Joe. You had to take Joe out to come back. So
yeah.
I guess the sacrifice may be worth it. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
I'm good to see you again, though, man. But no, doing good. I'm getting kind of sad. Football season's almost over. It's happened so fast, man. It's like this big thing that's and it feels like it. You just blink and you miss it. It's sad,
man. It's like a microcosm of these few months. Like I feel like Halloween flew by. I feel like Christmas is about to fly by. Football season's flying by. It's like all this stuff we wait all year for. You know what I mean? And it's it's gone. But you know what? I like the off season as well. As much as I love this season's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. The off season, I always say it's the season of hope. As soon as the season ends, everybody's 0-0. Everybody has the same record. Everybody moves on to the rookies, and everybody, you need to be following Toilets to Titles because we're going to have tons of off-season content for you. We're going to be deep into the draft. We're going to have dynasty stuff all off-season. We're even going to be talking redraft. We'll still be talking DFS strategy. We're going to change up our schedule a little bit, but follow, subscribe, check out toiletstotitles.com. Stay with us this off-season. We will help you advance because we're always working. If you're playing dynasty, you're always building. All right. As soon as the season ends, regardless of what you did last year, we're moving on because we're trying to cash out next season. So this is week 15. So speaking of regular fantasy football, this is the playoffs, right? So some people right now, hopefully all of you listening, if you do play redraft, dynasty, whatever, you're in some playoffs, but some people, they're not. And it doesn't matter because you still got DFS and we still have DFS for the next 4 weeks, I believe. It's 18-week seasons right now. So DFS, stick with us every Thursday. We're going to keep going. And you know what else we're doing? Toilets to Titles. We're going to be hosting a playoff league starting the NFL playoffs. I'm not sure if you're listening, if you're familiar with this, but the playoff leagues, the way they work, you can pick a player once. Once you've picked them, you can't pick them again next week. So you have to look at the schedules. You have to look at the matchups. You need to predict kind of who's going to make it to the Super Bowl so you can help that make your prediction. It's everybody against everybody. There's no matchups. So it's just point totals. By the time the Super Bowl goes around, it's going to be $10 a person. If you're in the Patreon, you get in for free. And everybody else, it's $10. And the way it works is we're going to pay out first place 60%. Second place is going to be 30%. Third place is going to be 10%. We're going to get that set up. MFL hasn't set up their playoff leagues yet. So we'll probably have it up in about 2 weeks. But if you're interested and you're listening, DM us on Twitter at Toilets to Titles or DM me at Coach Sheps or Dirty Jobs at Dirty Jobs 21. Let us know you want in because we'll set up probably a League Safe. If you guys aren't familiar with League Safe, we use that for a lot of our leagues. You pay in there, and then everybody votes at the end, and it distributes it. So the money doesn't go into anybody's hands but the person who is winning. So we got that to look forward to. But right now, let's not look forward. It's Thursday night. We have a beautiful matchup right here, right now, Kansas City. How about this, man? Monday night, Arizona, LA Rams. And then Thursday night, we get Kansas City, LA Chargers. What's better than that?
Right. Couple potential playoff looks right there. And I think tonight's just going to be a very, very high scoring affair because both of these teams have, I guess, like I would say middle of the pack defenses. I wouldn't say they both have bad defenses at this point because they both looked a little bit better as the weeks go by. But I do see this being a pretty high octane game, man. Both of them have to win to really secure that spot in the playoffs. So there should be some fireworks tonight. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff. Yeah, so great matchups. That St. Louis game was fire too, man. That was
awesome.
Yeah, that was a great
first play of the game. Aaron Donald shoved the center right into Kyler Murray's lap, and it was fireworks. So I think it's great that we got that Monday. We have this Thursday, and I'm excited for Saturday. I love me some Saturday football.
Yeah, Saturday football is always great. I just caught myself saying St. Louis, man. How long has it been since they've been the St. Louis Rams?
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be like it's almost like calling the Colts Baltimore.
Right. Yeah, almost.
Maybe not that bad, but it's close. But hey, Chris's videos is in this chat, and I'm going to get to his question. But I envision when I see Chris's videos, we had a Joe's videos where I live, and it was like a knockoff Blockbuster in a sense. It was like a mom and pop Blockbuster. And I'm sure that's not what Chris's videos means. But when I see the name Chris's videos, I think of a dude who owns like a mom and pop movies place, and he's still holding strong.
Right.
He's renting out VHSs and DVDs. He's got the section in the back where the beads, that you can't go in unless you're 18 or older. So Chris's videos, he's in the chat, and he wants to know, should I start Dak or Russ? And I'm going with Dak. If you check out my article, my start sits on toiletstotitles.com, I got Dak as a bounce back guy, and I think I even talk about him later in the show. He's awesome against the Giants. He is phenomenal. I think he's 8-2, and he's 8-0 over his last 8 matchups, and he has more passing touchdowns against the Giants and more passing yards than he has against any opponent. So I expect Dak to bounce back. So I'm starting him there. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, Dak's my start right here too. I think against that New York Giants defense, I want to get me a piece of that, especially the Cowboys are just kind of in a winning mode. They've been on fire as well. So give me Dak, and I really don't like Russ against the Rams. The Rams have really been starting to gel, and I think they'll probably torch the Seahawks. I think they'll run right through them pretty easily.
Well, with the Cowboys, they've been on fire, but it's mostly been defense. But the offense is due. You know what I mean? They've been in a little bit of a slump ever since Dak hurt his calf. They changed out Connor Williams for Connor McGovern at left guard. And then so all these things, now they just put Connor Williams back at left guard. So I'm hoping Dak's fully recovered from the calf. And I'm hoping this week the offense gets back on track. And I'm expecting them to, because they're playing against the Giants, and the Giants won't have Leonard Williams. So I don't think they have a D lineman who's really going to be a huge threat. I know Tyron Smith won't be out there, but they'll have Terrence Steele and Lil Collins. So we'll see. But everybody, however you're listening to us, I want you to know you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean. We have 2 Facebook pages, Toilets and Titles, and When a Family Breaks. When a Family Breaks, we buy, sell, trade sports cards and memorabilia. And all the people in the group can also do that. Buy, sell, trade, whatever. It's fair game, free for all. All right, we're also on Spotify. Again, we'd appreciate it if you checked our YouTube out, you hit the like button on some of our episodes, commented, and hit the subscribe and hit the bell so you're alerted anytime we go live. We're still going to be going live until the end of the season with all of our shows. I believe we have 7 or 8. We got this show Thursday nights. Tuesday, we have the flagship Toilets and Titles show. Wednesdays, we have Joe Knows recapping last week's games. Then we have Dollars to Deuces, which is our sports gambling show. Thursday nights is this. Saturday nights is Down Under Dynasty. Sunday morning, we have Joe Knows recapping the college games, talking and previewing the Sunday NFL slate. And then we have Mike. We got the Blitz, Alex, and Justin, and they go to you live, I believe, 10:30 a.m., and they answer all your start-sit questions. Any questions you have, so hit the bell, get alerted, check us out, and ask us all of your questions live, and we will answer them live because it makes the show a little bit more fun for us and for you. And also check out toiletstotitles.com. So, Mike, do you want to read off Joe, who's not with us this evening? He came in here. He let us know his Thursday night lineups. Why don't you get those out there so that everybody, if they're wanting to play those, they can put them in right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So his Chiefs lineup that he's got tonight, like he really had 2 lineups he was pretty excited about. He was saying he's also said he was very sorry he wasn't going to be here tonight. He definitely wanted to show up. He said the news of Eckler's potential limited usage tonight makes it hard to play any of the Chargers running backs. I can certainly agree with that kind of a take right there because, you're going to be looking at a smattering of Justin Jackson. I mean, like, it's just not going to be good. He says his Chiefs lineup, his MVP in the slot is Pat Mahomes at 17,000. His flex is Tyreek the Freak Hill at 13,000. His other flex is Mike Williams at 11,500. The other flex is Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 11,000. And then his final flex is Jared Cook at 7,500 for that little bonus little play there for cheap to get all those other big names in there. And that's a great move because he has a high potential score option in my forecast this week as well. We got the Chargers lineup that he has coming out. His MVP is Justin Herbert, and he didn't even leave the price because it was so expensive. I'm guessing somewhere around 16.5, somewhere in that neck of the woods. We got Travis Kelce at 12.5, Keenan Allen at 12, Darrell Williams, at 9,500, and then Harrison Butker at 9,000. I like this lineup too because the kickers should be very well involved. They should be very active tonight as well. Like I said, it's not like these defenses are slouches that are seeing each other, as well as it's a divisional game. So I mean, we're gonna have to limit our expectations on the height of the scoring, and so you could see this being a little bit of a 24-21 style game. So that's a great lineup for both of those. So I dig it, and man, it always sucks. I hate it when I see Eckler down. I love me some Eckler in every lineup.
But they need. I mean, I was talking to my buddy earlier. They need this game, the Chargers.
Yep, bad.
So if I'm the Chargers coach, and I'm not a professional coach, I'm not paid to make those decisions, but my thought process is you have to win this game. If you want a shot winning the division, making your road easier to the playoffs, you have to win tonight. So that makes me think they have to, like, if Eckler can play, they got to lean on that cat, no?
I don't think so. I think having Keenan Allen back will be a huge bonus for that. I mean, but Eckler has been the man in that whole entire offense. But I mean, the nice thing about them is that they have a lot of weapons. I mean, even if they have to lean more on Parham this evening, like as far as getting the short game out, I would rather see that than say because I mean, it would be great to make the playoffs, right? You want to win this game to make the playoffs. But if you lose Eckler for the rest of the season, then
there's no tomorrow, Mike. There's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow unless you're 12. If you're 12-5 or what, at this point you wouldn't be that. If you're 12 and whatever, you can worry about tomorrow. But right now, they got the Colts and the Bills.
Yeah, fair enough.
Breathing down their neck. I mean, these are just two separate philosophies. So I enjoy that you see it differently.
And then same here because I just see the inner. That's why you're a coach. You're like, get out there and play, damn it. Like, you can breathe, you can go.
And I'm sure Eckler might feel that way.
And Eckler is the type of player that is that kind of player that will say, put me in the field, coach. It's kind of like watching DeAndre Hopkins after they let him get out of the tent and he just checked himself in without even telling the coaches he was going back in. Everybody kind of looked up and they're like, is that Hopkins? So it's that kind of player that I love. And so I would fully expect to see a smattering of him. But again, I hope they don't overuse him to where he gets hurt. But I get what you're saying too. That's a great philosophy.
We'll see.
Right
luckily, we get to tune in about 20 minutes.
Amen.
And we get to find out. So now Chris is wondering, should he start DK since Lockett is out, or does he start Brandon Cooks? I keep waiting for the DK monster game, man, and it hasn't come yet. I almost feel like Cooks has the higher floor, so I want to know what you have around him. If I have two stud wide receivers, and this is my wide receiver 3, I might go Cooks. But if I need a big game, if I'm the underdog, I might go DK just for the possibility with Lockett out that he has a monster day.
I think the general population around here seems to want Brandon Cooks because I see a lot of bumper stickers out there that say "Let's go, Brandon" everywhere. That's
going over my head if it's something.
Oh yeah, no. DK for me, by a bunch. DK Metcalf is doing awesome this game with Lockett out. He always does so much better when we don't have Tyler Lockett in the game. So definitely, and he says he also has Chase Claypool. He just added in there. I'm still starting DK Metcalf. I love DK Metcalf when Tyler Lockett's not on that field.
Now he's saying he finished 6-7, so I'm interested if he made the playoffs at 6-7. That's good for you.
I've seen a lot of teams. I've seen a lot of playoff teams in there with the 6-7 record.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling. I wanted to let everybody know earlier. I talked about that playoff league. I said it's $10, but if you're a Patreon member, you get in for free. I want to let you know what else you get if you're a Patreon member. Patreon.com/toilets the titles to support the show. Tier 1 is $3 a month. It gets you into our group chat on Discord. So it's 24/7 access to all the members of Toilets to Titles, as well as all the other Patreon members. We're in there talking fantasy football all the time. We'd love to have you in there. And again, it supports the show. It helps us help you, and that's $3 a month. Tier 2 is $5 a month, gets you into that chat, gets you early access to the waiver wire episodes, which are now over. The regular season's over, but we discuss waiver wire pickups in the chat, and then next season you'll have the early access to that. And it gets you into Frankenstein, which is our listener league. We're going to up the size. First year it was 1 14-team league. Then it was 3 12-team divisions. Next year, I think we're going 5 12-team divisions. So we're looking for more members. This thing is incredible. If you're interested, go back and look at our YouTube channel. Check out, type in Toilets to Titles Frankenstein, and you'll see our episode from the summer discussing it. It's pretty incredible. And also, Tier 3 is $10 a month. Get you one-on-one roster analysis from anybody at Toilets to Titles, which is huge for Dynasty for the offseason. We could give you kind of a plan how to attack the offseason. It gets you free entry into Frankenstein, which Frankenstein is $25. Get you into the group chat and get you early access to the waiver wire episode. So now it's time to bring out Gandalf and that staff. You shall not pass. Go ahead, Mike.
Gandalf is never wrong. Gandalf has been always right this season. We've been following him as well as I've been following this guy, and I've been playing him week in and week out. And this week I'm fading the man. We got Joe Burrow at the Denver Broncos for $7,300. Even at that nice price, putting up 20 plus in every single game we've been seeing. I got to fade him. Denver's a top 5 defense, and when he's been facing a top 5 defense, he has been held to single digits every single time this season. So for me, I'm benching me some Joe Burrow.
All right, excellent. So now Chris is in here again. He's saying Elijah Mitchell did not practice on Thursday. I'm interested to see how that pans out for him. He's also asking if he should start Chase Edmonds if Connor is out 100%. I'm starting Chase Edmonds, but it also depends on the other options. It sounds like he has Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Elijah Mitchell, and Michael Carter. So I would probably go Jacobs and Mixon and then throw Edmonds in my flex if I didn't have, a better option there. But as a flex play, I'm feeling really good about it, especially with the way Connor has been getting the touches. If Connor's not there, I'm slotting Edmonds in. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, no, I agree completely with that whole lineup right there. Elijah Mitchell doesn't look like he's trending. He's been trending down as opposed to trending up since the beginning of the week there. So for me, it's a hard fade on him. And I mean, even with him on the field, to me, they've been running so much Deebo Samuels that his value's kind of gotten smashed there either way. So for me, Jacobs and Mixon it's a no-brainer. I'm a little on the fence about Carter, but he is coming back from a pretty bad ankle injury, a high ankle sprain. So for me, I don't mind flexing Edmonds right there.
All right, so now for the non-quarterback fades of the week. The first one is Sequon Barkley versus Dallas for $6,500 on DraftKings. He had his best matchup of the season, that is Sequon, last week against the LA Chargers, and he didn't make the best of it, in my opinion. The touchdown saved his day if you started him in fantasy. This week, he'll be without Daniel Jones and any threat of a passing game while facing a surprisingly stout Cowboys front seven. They looked tough with Neville Gallimore back, man. So I'm sitting Sequon Barkley. I'm not confident at all. And then next, Mike Evans versus New Orleans at 7,200. Evans versus Lattimore, advantage Lattimore, Lattimore has the most forced incompletions this season of any defensive back with 15. I'll always sit Evans in this matchup. Just historically speaking, he doesn't play him well. So I'm sitting Mike Evans, especially at 7,200. Now, guys, we are paying up for. I'm going to start with Nick Chubb versus the Las Vegas Raiders. It seems like everybody out is out in Cleveland. And Nick Chubb's been like teetering above being startable, like just teetering. He is due, man. He is due. I was talking to my buddy earlier, and I was saying, like, players got to play to the back of their card. You ever heard that saying before? Like,
yep,
their yearly stats. So Nick Chubb, he's got to have like a monster 3 or 4 week to catch up to the back of that card and for it all to even out. And I'm thinking it's starting this week. He's going to get like 30 touches. Their quarterbacks are out. They're down to, I think, who's the third string? The dude who was playing in Nick Mullins, I think. The dude who's playing in San Francisco.
Yep.
So Nick Mullins is going to be at quarterback. Nick Chubb, he's going to get fed, man. He hasn't topped 100 yards on the ground since week 10. Kareem Hunt's out. The quarterbacks are out. And the Las Vegas Raiders defense is poor. And they're teetering as well, man. They're on the ropes. So Nick Chubb, I'm paying up for him. And Deontay Johnson versus Tennessee at 7,500 over the last 4 weeks. Deontay Johnson is PPR wide receiver 2. I would not have guessed that. I had to look that up. He's had 48 targets in that time, man. So the Titans play the run well, but they're atrocious against the pass. I'm expecting Deontay to get another 10-plus targets. So I'm starting him at 7,500, and I'm confident he's going to fill up the stat sheet. So who's the guy you're paying up for, Mike?
Deebo Samuel, this guy, like I was just talking about right there. I mean, we're talking about the running back one of the San Francisco 49ers. And we're also talking about the wide receiver one of the San Francisco 49ers. So when you get that kind of versatility out of a player, it's too good to ignore that kind of volume. So, and I don't really see it changing against that Atlanta defense. I think we're going to see gadget player versus gadget player in Cordarrelle Patterson and Deebo Samuel. And I think Deebo Samuel is going to light it up. Yeah. And at 8,200, to me, that's even still a bargain.
Hell yeah. Sign him up. Put him in there. Put both of them in there. Get Deebo and get Cordarrelle Patterson. Put them both in your lineups.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play. Yep. Nope. He's in a few of my single game lineups there for sure.
All right. So riding the wave. We talked about Connor earlier. He might be out, but if Connor plays, I'm absolutely riding this wave. He's at 6,400 against Detroit. He has 129 points over the last 5 weeks. Like, that is phenomenal. If he plays, I'm starting him. I'm riding the wave. I don't care. If he don't play, I'm putting Edmonds in there. But I think Connor's a tough dude. He's tough as nails. He fought through cancer. He bounced back. I think this guy, he's going to be out on the field, and I am riding the wave. Okay, now bounce back player of the week. Mike, who's your bounce back player of the week?
For me, it's Jerry Judy versus Cincinnati, and that's at 6,100. And I mean, Jerry Judy's been quiet all season long. It really hasn't given you that, like, why did I draft him where I drafted him value game yet? And I really think that we see him against this Cincy defense that can be exploited even by TB.12. He can get out there and get everything done against the Cincinnati team, and a lot of that's going to be going through Jerry Judy. I think actually we see basically all the Broncos get fed, and I think we see him get fed early and then kind of skip back into that running game, and we'll see a Mixon versus Broncos coming at for the Cincinnati. Because like I said, I mean, you just don't really get to go to Denver and pass as much as you want to. Surtain's been exceeding expectations. I think he's in the running for Rookie of the Year, although Micah Parsons going to take that home by a landslide. Defensive Rookie Player of the Year anyways. But Surtain has been putting up a solid season on his own as well. So for me, Jerry Judy, I think we see a big, at least a touchdown coming out of him this week.
All right, excellent, man. What do you think the Broncos are going to do next season at quarterback? What's your early prediction?
I really honestly see them making a play for Aaron Rodgers. And I know everybody sits there and talks about that they're going to probably go for the Russell Wilson approach. But
Russell's going to the Giants.
I do feel like Russell Wilson would probably be better off going to the Giants, but I do see the one thing I do see coming out of is John Elway. John Elway has always had like a little man crush on Aaron Rodgers, the same one he had on Peyton Manning. And I really think that I think you see him like really try to make a push for Aaron Rodgers. So I feel like it's going to be Aaron Rodgers for the Broncos next year. If not, then, and if you see Russell Wilson go to Seattle, then Broncos are just going to be trapped in the same vortex that they are, because they can't draft their way out of this mess. That team is way too developed. It's young, but it won't stay young if you put a drafted quarterback on there.
It's ready. Like it
needs to pop now. It's got all the pieces. It needs to be a great team, minus that one real good solid play. Teddy Bridgewater is a great backup, but that's as good as it gets for him.
I would love to see Rodgers with Judy, Patrick, and Sutton, and Fant.
And dude,
and
Devontae in the backfield.
Yeah, that line's good.
Yeah,
they're a piece away from being dangerous, and John Elway has to see that. He's got to do everything he can. And I mean, wasn't it guaranteed? Like, didn't Green Bay guarantee that they'll let Rodgers go after the season? There's I think there's still some cap money there. I think he's still through one more year as far as the actual contract. I thought there was like a stipulation, like verbiage.
I think that they made like a kind of like a gentleman's agreement at the beginning of the season that and I believe Devontae Adams and him both said this is it. We're not going to be a Green Bay Packer next year. So we'll see. Who knows what, like, if they say like go out there and win the Super Bowl, what that'll do. But
that being said, me and Nate's our resident Packers fan, and we were kind of talking the other night. Michael Thomas might be let go by New Orleans next year. Imagine if Green Bay brought back Rodgers, brought back Adams, and then brought in Michael Thomas. That would be right.
That would be very un-Green Bay like, though. They would go get Marquez Callaway for something like.
I don't know, but maybe Rodgers is telling them I ain't coming back. You know, maybe I just think that would just
be. If you had a piece like Michael Thomas, that at least perk his eyebrows. I guarantee you that right now. He'd be like,
that'd be very interesting. That'd be very interesting. All right, my bounce back player of the week is Dak Prescott, who I talked about earlier. He's 6,500 on DraftKings. He hasn't looked like himself lately, but there's nothing like a familiar opponent to get a player comfortable and back on track. Dak is 8-2 against the Giants with 2,669 yards and 20 touchdowns. Like I said earlier, that's his most against any opponent. I just expect him to bounce back. People are questioning him, asking him if he's healthy. You know, I've seen some film breakdowns where it looks like it's not just Dak. It has a little bit to do with the route running and the receivers going in the right direction, depending on what the coverage is. So they need to figure it out. And I think they figure it out against the New York Giants. It's a prime opponent to get that done. So now we're ready for some lineups, man. We are ready for some lineups. So what's your lineup for the week on FanDuel?
So oddly enough, as much trash as I talk about Teddy Bridgewater, I am starting him. I do feel like he's going to get a little bit of volume this week versus Cincinnati. And at 6,600, I wanted the quarterback money play. Now I do have around, call it about $800 salary left. So I might tinker with this a little bit and try to upgrade that position. But right now I don't mind the Teddy Bridgewater, Jerry Judy versus Cincinnati stack. I got Ezekiel Elliott at New York Giants for 6,700. I think we see a good bounce back game from Easy, and he loves killing the Giants. We got Aaron Jones at Baltimore. I think he gets involved plenty in that game. He was getting involved plenty last week as well at 7,500. Once again, Jerry Judy versus Cincinnati at 6,100. Deebo Samuels versus Atlanta for 8,200. And there's nothing needs to be said about that guy. Julio Jones at Pittsburgh. I feel like Julio Jones has his week, which we thought he was going to have this last week. I think we see him have it versus Pittsburgh because they will have to get to a point where they do throw the ball against that team. Mike Gesicki against the Jets, especially with Waddle on the IR, and they're losing player after player to COVID. I really like getting him in there. And thank you. Appreciate the spelling correction there. I think it's actually messed up in my phone, and it always autocorrects back to that. Bills versus Carolina. Oh, and Amari Cooper. Sorry, Amari Cooper against the Giants. I feel like it's been about 6 or 7 weeks since I've seen Amari Cooper do something.
It's due.
So every time that happens, I'll put him in there. And
he's been scratching though, man. He's been scratching. I said this Tuesday night. He had a play in each of the last 2 games, like a deep post where he caught it. It was like a 30-yard gain, and he was like shoestring tackled. Like, he's this close to breaking it, man. I think it's going to happen this week. He's going to get in.
Yeah, but I think against the Giants, it's a good bet. And then Bills versus Carolina for 4,900. I think Cam Newton's going to get just demolished by that Bills defense.
Bills got to be pissed off, man. They came up hot. They came up hot towards the end of that game, man, but they did not start very well.
Yeah, no, they looked like crap at the very beginning of that game, but yeah, they ended very strong.
All right, so my lineup is on DraftKings. I got Dak Prescott at the New York Giants for 6,500. I mentioned him earlier. Nick Chubb versus the Las Vegas Raiders at 7,700. Again, spoke with him earlier. And James Conner, I'm riding the wave at Detroit, 6,400. If he gets benched because he's hurt, I'll make a lineup change, and you'll see it on Twitter at Toilets of Titles or on toiletsofTitles.com. You can see that. Wide receiver, I got Deontay Johnson versus Tennessee, 7,500. Again, I talked about him earlier. This dude's absolutely on fire. And then Cole Beasley versus Carolina at 4,900. I think the Bills are just going to put it on them. This is free points. 4,900, those are free points. Alan Lazard at Baltimore for 4,000. I think he had 7 targets last week for the Packers at 4,000. Give me that. Christian Kirk at Detroit, 5,300 with DeAndre Hopkins out. This guy, he's going to step up and get a lot of targets, I expect, this week. And then Tyler Higby versus Seattle at 4,000. He's probably the only guy in LA right now besides Cooper Kupp. And, man, I got to knock on wood because I have a lot of Cooper Kupp. I hope I didn't jinx it. But Tyler Higby's healthy. He got a week off. He's ready to go. So he's going to be a target there. And the Cowboys.
You don't got to worry about COVID and Cooper Kupp. He is germ resistant.
Oh, God. Please don't jinx it. I just traded for him in 1 week. I traded Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman, and Nico Collins. And the third for Cooper Kupp in a second.
That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal right there.
My other wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Deontay Johnson. So I'm like loaded at wide receiver now.
That's huge. Yeah, that's a good core right there.
Mm-hmm. But I like Waddle. I think Waddle's going to be a 10 target a game guy. He's a lot younger. Kupp's 28. So I feel like it's a win now move. I think Waddle's ceiling is Kupp-esque.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think Waddle's going to have actually a pretty good, decent career, but I don't think he's going to be anything like Cooper Kupp. Like I mean, that man is he's the bionic man. He's just amazing. Ever since he got that surgery.
They're going to pepper him, man. Watch.
Yep.
If you look at his numbers this year, for a rookie, and that offense has kind of been sputtering, maybe that's a high reach, but I see him 10 to 12 targets a game, and just alone in PPR. Even if you only go for 60, 70 yards, that's 18 points a week if you catch those.
Yeah, dude, and that's he's getting that with everybody on the field.
Right.
So
I do like Waddle, but I had to make that move. I felt like Thanos putting the Infinity Stone in the gauntlet, to try to go out there in the playoffs and win this thing. All right, my last piece is the Cowboys defense at the New York Giants at 3,600. The Cowboys defense is turnover happy right now. Micah Parsons is a dog. DeMarcus Lawrence is back. Randy Gregory's playing well. Neville Gallimore's playing well. J-Rock Curse is holding it down in the secondary. Trayvon Diggs. I think the Giants with Mike Glennon they're set up. The Cowboys are going to score a lot of points this week. So that's my lineup. So, man, I think we're all set. You ready for some Thursday night football?
I'm ready for some Thursday night football, man. I hope Eckler's out there and tearing it up. That's what I'm leaving with.
We're going to see. All right, everybody. Remember, check out patreon.com/toilets to titles. All right, $3 a month gets you into our group chat. That's tier 1. We talk football all the time. I'd love to see you in there. It supports the show, and it helps us help you. Good luck this week. If you're out of it, I hope you win a lot of DFS money. Get yourself some money so you can keep rolling. And if you're still in it and you're playing Dynasty, you're in redraft, whatever, good luck. Go get those dubs. Let's keep rolling. We'll see you next week. All right, enjoy the game. Take care.